Happy 100! Hey guys, it's Dan Park. Just calling to wish you all congratulations on this very fun experiment in book clubbing so far. Cannot wait to see the rest of the season, and I cannot wait for you to announce what the next game will be. Here's to another 100 and many, many more.
Do you guys like mathematics?
No. What is that?
I like numbers.
I don't know what those are.
Y'all know what 10 squared is?
Final Fantasy IV in the US.
It's the number of episodes that we've recorded with this one.
Oh shit.
This is our 100th episode.
It is our 100. It is our 10th squared episode.
I can't
God
believe
damn,
we remembered with no help from anyone.
No, nobody else had to like tell us that this was our 100th, and we would have gone right by it and not even
with
noticed.
no fanfare.
Yeah.
Cue fanfare theme. I can't believe we did 10 episodes 10 times on this shit.
You know what would be very, very insulting, like a very insulting thing to do?
No, but I have a feeling you'll tell me.
I will tell you. I was waiting for an answer. I was like, no, I want you to say no. It would be very rude to not let our guests introduce themselves today, and instead me to say, hey, Ninnyz is here.
Where am I?
You've removed the bag over Nin's head, and now he is at
Ripped the duct tape off his mouth.
Location. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's really rude that you would invite me here and then immediately duffel bag me inside the airport. How you got past security is beyond me. But I don't know where I am.
Kirsch just likes to tickles the TSA officer and everything's fine.
The atmosphere is very, very nice. Things are not on fire as they are in California. And
Ninnyz is coming to us from
a
a windowless room with one table and a chair, like one solitary overhead light, and his leg is cuffed to that chair.
You know, I appreciate the overhead light that you got it from a bar. I do like Bud Light on occasion.
Love it.
Yeah, we're talking about FF4, baby.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, Ninnyz.
Have you been, Ninnyz? I think you were here when we were in Baj and got some bonus aeons last.
Yeah, that was, and then I had to leave abruptly, so none of that this time, and I get to stay the entire duration.
Hell yeah, 7-hour episode. Let's go.
How about that?
Juicy.
Does that do something for you?
Oh, it does all kinds of things for me, baby.
Ninnyz, what's your have you played this game before?
Absolutely. I actually have a history of speedrunning this game. I did the no 64 door. Really fun. Like I'd say out of the Final Fantasy
Paper Mario game?
Close.
Paper Mario in the 64
You need a
door.
couple of exponents for that one. But
we've met our math quota for this episode.
Yeah, I was
already.
going to say, damn, we're talking hella exponents.
All right, I promise no more numbers. But as far as Final Fantasy games go, this was one of the most intricate as far as like technical, because while the other games you do get to have like the advantage of the ATB and seeing whose turns come up, the order of how the battles go is dependent on how you structure your team and where they are in position, who's your anchor in the run, and who is holding like the speed of it. So like it turns into almost like how 10 is, where you get to, you know whose turn is coming up next. You know, as long as you're following the leveling route, you're like, okay, it's Kain, then Cecil, Rosa goes, then Yang, then, you know, it'll go in that pattern, and it always goes as long as you're up on those accounts. So it's fun to learn. It's very high intensity, and it's a great run.
Do you know, offhand, do you understand how the anchoring works, like the speed anchor and stuff?
It has to do with your center party member. And then I think at the end of it, it has to do with Cecil's level.
Okay.
And speed stat.
Right.
But I think in the Super Nintendo one, it has to do specifically with who's in the center of your party.
Okay. I've wondered that before. Like I knew that was the case because when I watch the free enterprise runs, they're always switching who's in the middle position.
Yeah, it has to do with the agility stat. Whatever the agility stat is, you can kind of anticipate what certain bosses are going to do without spoiling things. But, you know, and that way you can kind of anticipate, you know, slot 1, slot 4, slot 2, slot 5, slot 3, like the attack order.
I see. Interesting. I might have to give that a shot. Not to speed run it and get good times, but just to do it.
Enterprise is a treasure.
Yeah, I know.
That's one of the most fun randomizers that I've ever messed around with. Like I've done Link to the Past, I've done Hollow Knight, and I've done Free Enterprise. And Free Enterprise, is just so
love
much fun.
watching the races on their Twitch channel. It's a blast.
Yeah, Free Enterprise sounds super cool. I'm also checking out just the speedrun page of Final Fantasy IV, and I see that Ninnyz is comfortably right in the middle of the leaderboard, which kicks ass. Another notable thing in the leaderboard is that Puexel has a 3 hours and 11-minute time, which hell yeah. And
the magic numbers.
And the person who's in the last place, I don't say that in any kind of like negative way, just happens to be on the leaderboard in the last place, is Fly Eagles Fly 72. And
Go Birds!
I clicked through and saw that they're from New Jersey, so may I just say Go Birds?
Go Birds! Go Birds! Well, your boy's last place in FF8. This boy right here.
Hell yeah!
That's right.
I'll be joining you shortly.
You have to beat my time though. I can't have somebody be later than me. You have to do at least 2 runs. Do your first and then beat mine.
You heard it here first. Curtis openly calling me out to speedrun Final Fantasy VIII.
Oh, I'll call anybody out. I'd love more people to run that game.
I need to one day when I have time to do it, but at the time of recording this, I'm going to curse myself now. I am still first place for Demon Tower, which is wild because I was expecting to have the true thing happen where, I don't even think I mentioned it on the podcast because I was like, by the time I mention it, it's going to get beaten. So now, of course, it's going to. But I think at the end of my thing, I'm like, yeah, let's see how long this lasts. I'm sure Dr. Mustache or one of the other runners is gonna bop me immediately.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of the bottom, we're at the bottom of this big ass fucking tower.
There's lava at the bottom of this tower.
Yeah, so we made it to the end of the dwarven castle, right?
Yeah.
They let us out. We saw the god bird. Don't call it a fat chocobo.
That's right.
It's blasphemous. And we have Rydia back. So the first thing I advise everybody to do who's playing the game is to, if you're playing the 2D version, press R. And if you're playing the 3D version, press Y until Rydia is the character on screen, because that is the correct way to play the rest of the game.
It's true.
So,
Rydia does
canonical.
kick immense ass.
It's that's a little strat that they don't tell you in the guides on game.
You won't learn
facts.
that in speedrunning school.
Walking up to the tower, there's just like some armadillos and some basilisks, right? I like that the basilisk in the original 2D version is translated as Black Liz, and I was like, maybe they think they're trying to say Black Lizard, and so they were like, that sounds right, instead of like basilisk, because it's like phonetically very close.
I wonder if there's any relation to Thin Lizzy.
Ooh, the Thin Liz.
All right.
Before we get to the tower, and we actually have to walk the world map too, right? We're walking from the bottom of the underworld to kind of the northern area.
The overworld, quote unquote, I guess.
Underworld, yeah.
Music is very good.
It's very good.
It has
Much
this really
like the
fat
movie
bass line.
Underworld. It is very good.
Yeah.
It's like a really kind of halftime version of the overworld map.
Dude, I love it
it's
so
cool.
much. I like
the
so much.
playful strings that started out. They're kind of goofy. It's fun.
Yeah. It almost sounds like it could be like an underwater level. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it does. Yeah. I really like it. It's a really
I
good
guess
tune.
Technically we're underwater.
Yeah, that's true. We're actually under the water.
Pizzicato seems like a very a tropey thing in Japanese games. I notice it a lot in Zelda games when you're near a volcano. Things are very kind of spacious and tippy tappy and kind of very sparse in the kind of the instead of long and sustained. It's really interesting.
Yeah.
I always wonder why that is or who started that trope.
Well, we just have to go back and play every single video game.
Yeah, we'll get to it.
Let's do it.
We'll get to it.
That's the next podcast.
Just every effing game.
Oh no.
We're starting with Mesopotamian football. So before we get to the tower, though, there are a bunch of tanks lined up outside of it, right? And so
just tanking around.
And King Giot or whatever his name is, his forces are firing on the tower, right? And so like he said, he told us before, his plan is to go up there, fire on them, draw a lot of the enemy forces out, and then give us a chance to enter the tower, which he does.
Yeah. Do we in the random encounters out front, do we actually encounter things that would be inside? That'd be really clever.
I didn't notice, so
be like, oh, there's knights out here because I'm like trampling through a war field or whatever.
I mean, the black lizards are in there.
Maybe they got inside.
Yeah, they've made their way in.
They didn't come outside. They just made their way inside. Somebody didn't close the door.
That's the underworld version of those red lantern flies that are all over the East Coast.
Fuck.
Yeah. And then like when we enter the tower, I think we're meant to believe that like there is a long bridge running up to it, which will come into play later.
Yeah, I'm either thinking a long bridge or that there is kind of a... Well, I have a few theories because think that we are higher up as soon as we walk in.
Exactly.
But also because when I walk in, it says Tower of Babil, basement 13, which means the ground floor is only 150 feet tall up from us. So I was like, is that... I think they were a little higher than that if we're
maybe they were doing
that
like
far from the ground floor.
Like every floor just has like vaulted ceilings.
Oh right. Yeah.
They just go up really far.
Now, I'm wondering, is this
hilarious though?
So maybe there is just like 1 hour later, and then we're just like on the 13th, like, oh, now like this is where the real tower begins.
You don't get to see them running up the stairs and then Tifa saying the R word and all that stuff. They just cut it out in this game.
Oh no.
What were you saying, Carl?
Is this the case in every version of the game that it's like basement 13? It was in the version that I'm playing, but
I think so.
I think I saw in guides that people were saying like basement.
They might call it something different in the original version.
Yeah,
like basement 5 or basement 6, which is even silly.
Well, we will get to those upper floors eventually.
Yeah,
we don't see them now, but we will get there.
I'm just wondering if they called it like floor 1, floor 2. Like obviously it's more immersive to be like, oh, I'm on the 13, like the 13 levels under the main tower or whatever.
Second floor basement. Second floor basement.
So wait, that's actually a good question. Ninnyz, are you playing along with the podcast? And if so, what version are you playing? Or which version are you most familiar with?
I'm playing the same one that I learned the speedrun on, which is the US FF2 cart.
Nice.
So that's what would be the Japanese FF4 easy type.
Well, actually, I think we talked about this early in the podcast that the easy type is actually a smidge easier than the US version of. It's actually came out like slightly different. There was actually a whole different release. There's some slight differences.
Maybe
it's like easy type is like right in the between. I think like what Japanese and easy type would be. I think, but I could.
The way that I understood it is that the Japanese FF2 easy type is the US FF2. That's what I understood it, because they took out a lot of like the throwable items, like the Zeus's wraths and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's comparable to the US 2, and what makes it easy is not actually like the stats and the numbers and the items. It's that they simplified the kanji and the katakana for it, because the original one, or I guess there's no kanji in the original, it's all hiragana katakana, but they used like the equivalent of Shakespearean words, and like imagine like to us, like reading Ye Olde English is like a step away, but for Japanese, it's first that you have to go to English and then to Ye Olde English, and so it was difficult for little kids to read. And so my understanding was the easy type actually comes from the changed text, but it also is based on the US release.
Note to self: if learning Japanese and how to read it, play easy type and not OG.
No, just jump in, just do it.
It probably was like it was just kind of like a third, like there's the first one, then the American release, and then easy type, which is probably just a further iteration of like, how can we make this even more accessible and whatever.
Yeah.
We're just trying to get more money.
Today I learned.
Which like is good, because like having gone back and played some of 2 and 3 for the Famicom now, like some of those NES games, man, they're not so easy. Like they don't play so smoothly, and so doing things to make the games more streamlined, I'm kind of all about it right now.
Especially for like the older games too, where like 1, 2, and 3, where the plot line, they'll literally tell you where you need to go, but if you can't read where they're telling you to go, you're just lost for hours at a time.
Well, shit, I mean, when we played FF1, I think there were multiple times we were like, I don't know what to do. Like, one NPC somewhere in a town we've already been to is just like, hey, by the way, there's a town in the mountains. And, like, you needed to remember that.
Did you talk to Jeff? You should talk to Jeff.
Yeah.
You would love Jeff.
Jeff's the shit. Trouble is, he's been captured by dragons and is at the top of a mountain.
So there is one incredibly large and major difference that I want to talk about between the 3D and the 2D versions. I played the 3D version this weekend. I went on a vacation and I was at my parents' house and I just kind of sat there and played through the 3D version. And I ran away from most of the encounters because there is an enemy in the 3D version. It's the what the hell is it called? The fire lion, the fire cat.
Oh,
yeah. The Hellcat or whatever.
Hellcat, whatever it is. Yeah, that guy. I'm gonna look it up. I need to find out what that,
I might have just made up
is.
Hellcat, but that sounds pretty cool.
It should be if it isn't.
Firefox.
Flamehound?
The Flamehound. Yeah, it's a dog, apparently. A hound. It's a cat. Whatever.
It definitely looks like a cat. It looks like one of those fucked up cats in Dark Root Garden in Dark Souls. Except on fire.
One of the ones that turn into the ball and then they roll it.
Yeah, they just fucking Sonic the Hedgehog your ass.
Well, this guy in the 2D version, they're in both the versions of the game, right? In the 2D one, they can cast like second level fire magic on you and do like 100 to 200 damage, something like that. In the 3D version, they have a move called Scorch, and Scorch hits all of your party members for 600 to 700 damage. And like, I don't think Rydia has that much max HP right now. And so like, when two of them are on the board at once, if they both use Scorch, that's just game over.
So the Super Nintendo version, instead of Scorch, they have Blaze, which hits everybody in one particular row.
Yeah.
So they either attack everybody in the front row or they'll hit anybody in the back row.
Yeah, but even then, it's only like 100 or 200.
If it hits everyone in the back row, where you're like, that's literally where everyone with low HP is. Like,
Yeah,
that sucks.
But at very least, it does like a third, if less than the amount of damage that it does in the 3D version. So like in the 3D version, I was just like, nah. Every time I saw them, I'd just be like, I'm just not going to fight this battle. Goodbye.
Yeah, they were pretty tough in the version that I was playing, the complete edition, just because of the same thing. Like, it didn't wipe my party all too often, but I think I could have probably survived two of them. But it still was like, well, shit. Now I need to like burn through MP or potions or whatever.
Yeah. How about those scanners?
Oh yeah, so
Yeah, that's pretty cool enemy.
We love ourselves an alert tone.
So I countered these guys in some item chests along the way.
Yeah, there are several in little like this tower is like very how do you say it? Like kind of windy. There's a lot of like offshoot rooms that you can go into, and a lot of like you can go to like another floor of the tower, but there's no way to progress in that floor. You just get some treasure and then you have to come back.
Yeah,
but you're right, there are a lot
a
of like monster inbox treasure chests.
Yeah, you'll see like a treasure chest that you can access from like two hallways or something, and it's blocking your way to get to the rest of the tower kind of thing, so you have to go like up and down.
Yeah. But there's a lot of really good stuff in those treasure chests in here. But yeah, when you open the box sometimes you'll fight, what is it called? An alert tone?
I think the enemy is just called alert, and then it doesn't do anything. It just says searching for
intruders.
Intruders. Scanning for intruder. Yeah,
until you actually hit it, and then it will summon. There's a small pool of enemies, and this is actually kind of interesting. Later on in the run, there's another place that you go to that you fight these things that are very crucial for a grind in the speed run. It's such a weird thing, but essentially what ends up happening is you cast weak on the enemy, you attack it with one of your characters, and then as it's right before it dies, you have Cecil and Rosa throw a life potion on the enemy. So after it dies, you revive it, but it immediately dies. So every single one of these enemies that you're killing, it gives you 3 kills worth of experience.
Wow.
Whoa,
so that's how you
sick.
do the grind fight. But it takes practice, because you can't just like wing it and just like get the right rhythm. It's very like methodical. It's this 1 1000, 2 1000, do this, pause, begin again.
Yeah, the old metronome strats where you just put a click on in your ear.
Exactly.
Yeah, I found myself kind of getting into a rhythm like that. Not as like precise and not as like necessary, but I was kind of just like, okay, it's this enemy. I know he's not going to attack me right away or summon an enemy until I attack him. And I was like, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump with Kain, and then when it gets to a certain point on the ATB meter, I'm going to focus with Yang and then I'm going to attack with Cecil. So then by the time everything gets ready to go off, it's going to be like, okay, Cecil attacks, then Kain jumps, it summons the thing, and whatever the order was, and it was pretty much I could wipe them without ever taking any damage. So I ran into these things, so I was like, oh, this is cool. Like, I don't feel like there's any threat here.
Yeah.
In the 3D version, because you can focus with Kain multiple times, Yang, because you can focus with Yang multiple times, if you do a focus of 2 or higher, you can just one-hit KO them. So I was just like, oh, I'll just sit here and keep focusing until like Yang's ready to do like 4,000 damage in one hit.
That rules.
Bam!
They're also good recovery spots too, because I mean, like, granted, it's better for you to use Cure 1 outside of battle, but I mean, like, you know, if you've leveled up Rosa far enough, you can use to get a nice Cure 3 up, and then that's just like, because it's not going to attack you, so you just get to cast 1 Cure 3 and get your party back to full health.
I didn't even think about that.
You just kind of go from there.
That's a good idea. I didn't even think about that. That would have been handy.
I didn't think about that either, which is funny because in like previous areas of the game, when I would run into things and with like Yang, I would use an attack that would confuse the enemy, and then I would be like, okay, it's only one left, and it would be like the one that would just kind of use a move that doesn't do any damage. It was like Tornado or something that didn't do anything to them.
Yeah.
I would just be like, oh, okay, now I can heal up and then kill them.
Yeah. But in these in these chests that we fight these monster in boxes for, there's some good stuff in there. There's a Ice Lance for Kain, and if you're playing the 2D version, like, that is more than 10 attack power over his next best weapon. So like, that's huge. Like, it took me up from like 62 to like 77. I was like, whoa, like, big bump. There's also Ice Armor that'll protect you from the fire enemies. There's a lot of fire enemies in this tower. That's like the element of the tower, right? You can get the Ice brand for Cecil. Same thing. It's ice and it is more powerful. So by the time I got all that equipment, man, I was like wrecking people.
Yeah, I was doing like 4 digits of damage just with Cecil and Kain.
Yeah, same. Yeah,
and it was nice too because before that I had like the fire versions of those weapons on them. So I was like, shit, this fire cat, I can't really do too much with him with, you know, my heavy hitters.
Interestingly,
last tower, fire was our best friend, and now we have to like kind of switch it all up. Like, it's just healing everyone.
Well, you know what I was gonna say? Like, I had the fire sword on Cecil. Oh wait, no, I didn't. Did I have the fire sword or the dwarven axe? I may have had the dwarven axe on him. Never mind.
Got some cat claws for Yang.
There are some cat claws for Yang, which actually like up his attack power. That it doesn't just give him another attribute. I don't think they have any attributes, right?
I think for me, it didn't really do as much as what I had equipped for him, and it would also put an enemy to sleep, I think.
Oh, really?
I was like, that's not really helpful.
Yeah.
I would rather have poison and confuse than sleep.
Well, the good thing about Yang is it can have multiple claws on it at a time.
Yeah. I actually took the confusion one off and then put cat claws on. Because the way I figured it is like every time I confuse somebody, I already had another attack queued up anyway, so just knock them right out of confusion.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, may as well just go for the better damage and just keep the poison. But that means different strokes for different folks on that one.
I think that would do the same with sleep, right? Where it would fall asleep, maybe do more damage because it has that little bump. But
you could hit it with magic and keep it asleep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good call.
Nice.
If that's what you were doing.
Other loot includes the killer bow, which I gave to Rosa immediately.
Same. Also, there's ice arrows you can find in chests, so that helps too. So, like, the bow is actually kind of like, it makes Rydia or Rosa kind of like a competitor here.
Oh, hell yeah.
I mean, Rydia already is because of her magic, but like, if you're just using her normal attack.
Or her summons, yeah.
Yeah. And she does have the whip, though, that paralyzes.
Yeah, that was super helpful as well.
Yeah.
Love it.
Or if you totally didn't break the game early and get dancing daggers.
That's true, yeah. Wait, didn't one of us get dancing daggers?
I did at the beginning.
We had maybe it was a guest we had on. Somebody
I think it might have been a
Peter
guest.
might have mentioned it.
I was going to say it was either Peter or Dave, I think.
That's right. That's right. And Ninnyz, apparently. Everybody who's anybody.
Everyone knows what to do.
The only ones who don't are us.
Well, the cool thing is you get a chance to go back.
I think it's the time we'll stop being the host of the podcast. We'll let Dave, Peter, and Ninnyz run the podcast. They obviously know more about the games than we do.
Hell yeah.
Wouldn't that be something?
All right, when's your competitor podcast starting? I'm ready.
I got a competitor project.
Oh, okay. What else? Oh, my favorite thing is here in this tower. An egg.
Oh yeah, the mystery egg.
Love an eggy boy.
May I offer you an egg in this trying dungeon?
In Japanese, it's actually called the Cadbury cream.
Whoa, really?
No.
Oh, a Cadbury. I thought you said cream. I was like, oh, is it called cream? I'm sorry, I ruined the joke, Carl.
Oh no, it's completely fine. I mispronounced it anyway, so who cares? I think it's Canterbury.
Oh, is it?
Who cares?
There it is. Ninnyz has posted a picture of the egg.
Oh, what a good egg.
What a good egg.
Oh, that looks good as hell in that version.
The incredible edible egg.
I ran into this thing and
so what's the deal with this egg?
Yeah, did anyone, I didn't know what to do and I was like, oh, this thing's gonna hatch, obviously. I was like, so let me wait for it and let it happen. And then I went through one entire loop of the battle theme and I was like, well, it's probably not time-based then if it's gonna be that long. And then I think I attacked it with Cecil and it just killed it and I was like, oh. It wasn't until later that I was like, let me try attacking it with...
I can't believe you killed that egg.
Can't believe you killed that egg.
Apparently it hatches into a green dragon.
It can
version.
It can hatch into a black lizard, lamia, nagaraja, green dragon, or yellow dragon.
Interesting. I feel like I only got the basilisk.
Does that depend on the area?
Oh, maybe.
Well, I think it's more like a countdown timer, right? Like if you bump it and don't kill it, it probably hatches.
Exactly.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Carl, I would just kind of one-hit it.
One thing that I did at one point, I was like, okay, well, Rydia doesn't do as much damage. So I want to see what this thing hatches and if it hatches anything else. So I had Rydia attack with her whip, and then it was paralyzed. And I'm like, I just fucking paralyzed this egg. So it's not gonna so it didn't hatch. And I was like, okay, well.
Do you know what level the egg is?
No.
It's level 127, which is
that's a
the
big
highest volume can be in MIDI.
Oh, yeah.
That's max volume, baby. That egg is pumping it.
It's a loud egg.
It's a loud egg.
Very hard velocity.
Yeah, max velocity egg. Right. Love that. Anyway.
But yeah, there's Medusas, there's Chimeras or Chimeras, Flame Knights, Scourgers. It's like my favorite coffee.
Oh, I didn't see any Scourgers, I don't think. But that's really...
The best part of waking up, Scourgers in your cup. There was an enemy. It wasn't the basilisks. There's an enemy that does petrification instantly. What is that?
Ooh, was it a bat?
Are you talking about the black cats?
Maybe.
Oh, like the corals?
Because there's the black cats and they do a move, and in the Super Nintendo version, it just instant kills. It's just, you are dead.
Woof. The one that I was thinking about was the Medusa, because they can come in packs of 3 and they'll all just start casting petrification every turn. And they can get you real close. Like if you don't start firing on them immediately, you can become stone. The whole party can. But did you notice that stone acts kind of weird in this game? I don't remember how it is on the 3D version, but did you notice the 2D version stone is different than it is in any other game?
Yeah, kind of you can still move and stuff, right?
Yeah, you get stoned. You get petrified from the feet up, and it doesn't actually take effect until you're fully petrified. Oh. So it takes 3 casts of it to actually make a character petrified.
Weird.
Yeah,
so
right?
maybe the first cast they can't move on this maybe close
no,
up.
You can still move. But it's odd. You still have
does that count physical attacks and everything?
Yeah. You still have all of your abilities until that third one goes off. But your character will look like they shouldn't be able to.
Yeah, it'll look like it's paralyzed, but a slightly a more gray color. And
Maybe it's like Metal Mario.
I assumed it was an ATB thing, a timing thing that I was I need to end this battle quick before I get fully stoned.
Always trying to get fully stoned.
I like the Naga a lot. It's the sprite is very goofy. It's just like a snake with a man demon face.
Yeah, the Naga is a folklore critter from Japan.
I figured as much, and I was like, it also seems like it was probably in an episode of Inuyasha.
Oh yeah,
which is where I get most of my Japanese folklore, I guess.
The Naga is a Japanese folklore monster which originates in this story called Chrono Trigger. That you find them in the cathedral at the beginning of the game, and that's where you meet Frog.
Yeah, that's the same Japanese folklore that a whole genre of music is based off of. It bands like I guess Korn would kind of fit in, perhaps also Limp Bizkit, but it was a type of metal, but it was based off of a Japanese folklore Chrono Trigger anime called Ehhhh.
New metal. I was wondering where you were going with that.
Never have I been caught 2 times in a row.
That's good.
Both hook, line, and sinker by both of those jokes. It's like you step in one bear trap out of it and right into the other.
Yeah, you step in one bear trap with one leg, and then you're like, let me use my leg to get myself out, and your right leg goes in another one.
It's Homer Simpson in the tar.
Yeah, and now to pull my arms out with my face.
Yeah, we're all musicians here. We need to start a band that's just like the Chrono Trigger soundtrack, except all in the style of new metal, and it's just called
and call it new metal. Yeah.
New metal, yeah.
That's incredible.
Alex, have you seen the new from Chrono Trigger? I'm going to post a picture of it in the...
Oh, hey, it's that guy. I know that guy.
Yeah.
I know that guy. Small world.
My roommate has a dress that they wear that has that entire thing just printed all over. And just
oh, that's incredible. Really? That's
so
great.
Good.
You might say they're nude when they wear that. Da 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 da.
They walk out and go, "Hey, you like my new dress?"
New dress. That's
That
good.
actually might have been the joke. I could be complete.
Yeah, Alex would have just been like, "Yeah, it's nice." Yeah,
Just bust in the room, and be like, "Hey, that joke?
got it now." That one you told me years ago, I get it.
Get it now.
Anyway, there's really not a lot in the Tower of Babel. That's the thing. Like, there is a lot, but like we've covered most of it. So
Yeah, it
Dr.
takes...
Robotnik-y looking, or
It does.
Mega Man looking ass tower.
Yeah,
It's funny that you say doctor.
Doctor.
indeed. So there are before we get to the good doctor, there are a couple save points in the tower. I think there are 2, but they're both not on the critical path. So like if you were just trying to find the shortest way to get to the top, then like you might miss them. But they are in like little rooms right off to the side of the main path.
They are placed pretty nicely as well. I found myself being like, well, shit, like I'm getting a little... it's getting a little rough in here. I need to use a tent or save because I could lose a lot of progress here. And anytime I would find one, I'd be like, oh, thank God. Like, I like that they learned, or maybe they did, I don't know. I feel like they learned from the mistakes of like the Final Fantasy 1 days of just being like, yeah, let's have this really difficult and mean area with no save point that you just lose an hour worth of grinding because you died to the boss.
I cannot wait to play Final Fantasy 3. It's a little joke out there for everybody who's played Final Fantasy 3.
Pain.
Fucking cloud of darkness, baby.
I thought isn't Pain Final Fantasy 10 too?
Yeah.
Yeah, but she can't save in the final dungeon either. Yeah, so before we get to the top of the tower, I think maybe we should use the save point in a tent.
Yeah, let's go ahead and pitch a tent.
Hey guys, it's Heaves off the Discord and Twitch and Twitter. Just giving you guys a call. Wish you guys a happy 100th episode, and hopefully we get 100 more out of you guys.
So, I've never watched this Every F in the F. I'm convinced that it's all about Final Fantasy having sex with other Final Fantasies, and I just want to know, do you think Final Fantasy IV and Final Fantasy VI, do you think they would get along? Do you think they'd be friends? Do you think they'd fuck?
Yo, what's up, dudes? It's your boy Amok, coming from the western side of Pennsylvania. I just wanted to say congrats on 100 wonderful episodes of the Every FNF podcast. looking forward to the next 1,000. And remember, FF8, FF great.
You may find yourself behind the wheel of a large airship. You may find yourself in a beautiful tower with a beautiful summoner. And you may ask yourself, well, how did I get here? How many? We need to have a running counter of how many fucking Talking Heads jokes we make. Specifically that song.
Yeah.
It's like, oh God, we don't have a gag. What do we do?
I wish we were more of a Talking Heads than a Simpsons podcast sometimes.
So the floor before the last one, actually, well, let's start 2 or 3 floors before the last one. There is there's a floor with a door on it that you can't get into.
There's a log.
It looks like an engine. It has like an engine room of some sort.
It looks like it's gonna be like an engine room or something. Yeah, but it's locked and you can't get in.
It's kind of Star Wars Episode 1 with like a long like catwalk thing. Obviously, it's very sci-fi and high tech, and you go up to the door and it's locked.
Yeah.
What a thrill! Oh wait, no. Ladder joke.
I love that game.
Remind me to make a good joke about that when we get to FF6 because you can get the man-eater weapon. Anyway, so just keep that in mind, and then on the next level, on the next level up, you'll notice that like there's a lot of floor, but you can't access any of it, right? So it's kind of like you can like walk around and try to get in there, but you just can't. There's no way to get to the rest of that floor. So that's also something to keep in your mind for later.
Just lousy with floor tiles.
Lousy with floor tiles. So much floor tiles. Ridiculous.
Much wow.
But then you get to the top floor, and there's just a dude up there, and he's just having a grand old time. And he's like, what does he look like?
I was like Dr. Wily looking. He looks like
Dr.
one of the
Wily.
Koopa kids. What Koopa kid does he look like?
Ludwig.
In the 2D versions.
It might be Lemmy?
Oh, okay. I was thinking the guy who has like the parted hair that goes out to the side.
Yeah, let me see.
Straight up, it has like Rick or
and or Morty.
Freaking yeah, what's his name from Doc from Back to the Future?
Oh my God, he looks like Doc.
Crazy hair.
Yeah,
He's Doc from Back to the Future. You go up to him and he goes, oh, Cecil, I don't know how they found me, but they found me. Who, Doc? The Libyans.
In the 2D version, is he talking to someone when you approach?
Yes.
He is.
Yes.
He's
By the way,
talking
I was
to...
thinking of Iggy Koopa. That's who I was thinking of.
Oh.
Yes.
He's talking to Rubicante, the final of the 4 fiends.
Yo, such a spicy boy.
Such a spicy boy. He's Rupicante, am I right?
Yes, meow.
Yeah, it's that Picante rub.
That good? That was a good one? It's like a 6 out of 10 at least. Anyway.
Bust out my maracas.
Thank you. But he's basically saying that he's talking to Rubicante, and Rubicante is leaving, right? He's like getting ready to head to the surface world and do some things. And he's like, I'm going to leave this tower in your charge for now. Dr. Lugae, right? Like Lugae.
Dinner's in the oven.
Dinner's in the oven. I've already fed the cats. You don't need to let them out. Everything should be fine.
All the Hellcats running
This
around.
one's going to pretend like it needs to eat and that it hasn't eaten. He's lying. He always tries to get second dinner. He's not allowed to have second dinner. He's on a diet. Don't trust him.
You can use the television upstairs, but the lower one's VHS VCR is programmed to record Survivor when it comes on. We all remember.
The Wi-Fi password is jalapeno 420, and no boyfriends or any additional.
So
company.
we do have 2 remotes. The one is for the TV. The other is for like the DVR box. Don't touch the DVR box one. It can mess it up. And I need to record. I need to record my TiVo.
My Zopes.
Rubicante needs to watch his stories. But anyway, that's the gist of it. He's leaving Dr. Lugae to
But yeah, Dr. Lube, was it Lubier?
I call him Lugae, like Lugae. Lugae.
I was saying like Lugae, but I think Lugae probably makes more sense.
Yeah.
In
Dr. L.
phonetic Japanese.
Dr. Loser.
Was that a Simpsons thing? Mr. Louvier? Dr. Louvier?
Mrs. Bouvier.
Mrs. Bouvier. Yeah, that's it.
Bouvier.
Yeah.
Marge,
Okay.
Marge
Dr.
Bouvier.
Lugier. Dr. Lugier. That's it.
The glass just
Simpson
shatters.
Good.
but yeah, Doctor's just like, be careful, Ruby.
Yeah,
There's no reason for concern. Ilban's castle has already fallen, and its ninja forces with it. I trust matters here with you until my return. So who is this Elba? Elban?
Idris.
I can't believe they
Elba.
got Idris Elba. I can't believe they took him down.
So that's, you remember before we came to the underground, I said
This
there
is
was
just
like a
the
castle that I
Stephen King Dark
ransacked.
Tower movie.
Right.
Yeah.
That's is the shitty castle.
The shitty castle. So he says that Eblin's already fallen, and he's actually referring to that kingdom. And that kingdom has like ninja forces, but they've already all been defeated.
I knew I remembered
Oh.
the name, but I couldn't remember like specifically where.
Yeah, that's from that area. So he's going off to deal with more of that, right?
And then the Doctor does a straight up like risky business thing. It's like, both Golbez and Rubicante gone, and only I at home. I am Lord of the Tower now.
I am going to feed the cats twice.
He does a total Kevin McAllister thing.
Yeah.
I made my family disappear. He starts watching Angels with Dirty Souls.
Starts texting his partner saying, "Hey, parents are out. Want to come over?"
Fuck, I'm trying to think of some other.
I can't. It's 30 floors up.
He's in Scarmiglione's room, and he's just looking through it, and he finds a picture of just like one of the Medusas or whatever. And he's like, "Scarmiglione, your girlfriend, woof."
But yeah, we pop up. We pop up.
We pop a
on him.
boppa.
We pop it a boppa.
We show up.
We run up, pop it a boppa. Hey, spaghetti.
spaghetti.
We spook him. We spook him good. We give him the we give him the old spaghetti.
But Iridia's is like, that's a strange one, because he's like talking to himself, talking about scheming and stuff.
Yeah, which I feel like Riddy is not one to talk about being strange, but
I
that's
also
okay.
feel like that's not really reason to call someone strange. Like, how many times have you been like, you thought you were home alone, you didn't realize your roommate's there, and you're just saying some dumb shit to yourself, like you're, whatever, like just talking to yourself and like joking around, and then you look over and you're like, oh, and you're like, the feeling of
Yeah.
embarrassment you get when someone oversees you doing something when you thought you were alone.
Yeah.
This whole interaction is just good.
But he's like, oh, who's there? And this is where I get a really good look at his stupid face, which to me does
That
look
is
like
stupid face.
Which to me, in the 3D version, he does look very much like Doc Brown combined with Gruntilda or whatever from
Yeah.
Banjo-Kazooie.
Now, which Gruntilda version? Is it the sexy one that you get for the game over, the good ending one where she gets fully bimbified, or...
I'm hoping that's what happens at the end of the podcast. We all become.
He's so
bimbofied.
much more
I think
yellow
it's
in this version.
a slow burn to that.
But yeah, so he recognizes Cecil, right? He's like, "Oh shit, you're the Cecil, like you're that one. Like I'm gonna beat you up now." And I love that.
When in Toad Spittle did you squirm your way in?
Yeah, Toad Spittle. Toad
Ew.
Spittle. Anyway, I like that. Like I said before, that like now that we have Kane on the team, we actually have somebody capable of backtalk, and like nobody up to this point has been able to do it. Like everybody's too much of a goody two shoes, and like Kane immediately is just like, "Yo, you're a bitch. Like we're gonna kill you." And he's like, "Hey, who do you think you're talking to? I'm Dr. Lugay. Golbez made me chief strategist. I'm going to beat you up." And he's like, "Oh, I'd like to see you try." And I was like, "Ooh, Kane, love it."
Lugay is short for Lou Bega.
Lou Bega, yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The thing that I love about that leads into this is like in the SNES version, I don't know if it played out in the same thing on like the Vita version or the 3DS version, but like since the script is so much smaller in the Super Nintendo version, Rydia just goes, "What a weird guy," and then Rosa just goes, "Shush."
Yeah, she tells him.
And then
she tells
he
him
turns
shush,
around and
yeah.
notices, and then he goes, "Cecil," and Cecil goes, "Oops."
Ooh, you're in trouble.
Oh, yeah, it's like the look of like panic, like frozen.
Guys,
He's like,
do you think he saw us? If we stand completely still, he won't be able to see us. I see you. Shit.
But I love that before we fight him, like so we're gonna fight, and right before we do, he says, "My beautiful little boy will have you for playthings," and I was like, I also love calling inanimate objects my beautiful little boy. So like I do feel Doc a little bit on this one.
And we get in a boss fight, and it's Doctor plus what looks like Colossus from X-Men.
Yeah, or Frankenstein from
with the good old
Frankenstein.
Well, what's the music from the doll?
Yeah, it's doing the creepy doll music.
Yeah, like the creepy kind of waltzy thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, I love a good waltz.
This boss battle is kind of interesting because it can play out multiple ways over the course of it. Like there's like several things that can happen during it. You can skip entire phases of this boss. But you will miss out on some dialogue if you do. And once again, as always, very different difficulty between the 3D version and the 2D version. I felt like the 2D version was like almost free in a way, and the 3D version was monstrous. I did die a couple times on the 3D version, as a matter of fact. But it's Dr. Luge and Barnabas, the giant mechanical robot. Yeah. And there's a little bit of like a comedy shtick routine at first, the first few turns of this. Because like Dr. Luge will be like, go, beat them. And then like Barnabas will attack Dr. Luge and punch him for like several hundred damage. And like this is during like the battle too. Like you're taking turns while this happens. And he's like, no, not me, you big idiot. Fight them. And so he has to like turn on you.
In the 3D one, it's good because of how it's set up visually. Like Luge is like basically at like waist height, so when the Colossus monster or whatever like swings, it literally does like he does like a little hook towards us, but it hits Luge instead.
Oh, that's so good.
Yow, not me, you big oaf! Over there, got it.
I love that.
Show them what a strong boy you are.
Yes, show them what a big strong boy you are. Love that. Love that.
I like how the sprite work in like the Vita version or whatever kind of just looks, it has the same energy of like he said he wanted this sandwich with no pickles, like where it's like like Barnabas is just standing there all big and tough, and then like Luge is just like scolding someone.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's roughly the same artwork for the SNES version.
Yeah. But like they're not in this form, they're not terribly bad. Barnabas can do a lot of damage when he starts turning his fists on you, though. If you don't put up Protect, especially on the 3D version, he can one-hit KO your mages, like, from full health. So he's pretty rough. He can also KO Yang, who just doesn't have the defense to be able to stand up with him. He can do, like, 4 digits of damage to Yang. It's really, really brutal. But Luge's not really doing anything except for, like, I think healing Barnabas. He might throw some attacks, but he's not really that big of a deal. But you can attack either Barnabas or Dr. Luge, and that's like the key to the different outcomes of this battle, right? So if you beat Luge first or beat them at the same time, that's just the end of the battle. Battle ends, right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then you just move on to the next fight. But if you beat Barnabas first, then he'll like explode, and then the doctor's like, well, I guess I'm gonna have to control him myself, and he like jumps in the neck of Barnabas and like pilots him around like a Dr. Wily mech.
Yeah, real Dr. Wily energy for sure.
Yeah, it's very goofy, but he's like very, very dangerous when he does that. Like his attack power goes way up along with his speed. He is not to be trifled with at that point. But the big thing about that form of the fight is that he has a certain amount of HP, and what you want to do is start whittling him down as fast as you can, right? You just start throwing stuff at him. Because after so many turns, a little text box will appear for the doctor, and he'll say, oh, hey, what's this button? I've never pressed this button before. And he presses it, and it's the self-destruct for Barnabas. And so he self-destructs, and his remaining HP is the amount of damage that it does on your party members that it hits.
Whoa, that's really cool.
So it's possible to get him low enough that he won't kill anyone, although I could never do it.
Yeah, I didn't realize that about the fight, but I did get that fight just because I kind of figured if you killed Luge, like, something would be different.
Oh, wait, are you talking about Barnabas or
Barnabas,
Dr. Luge?
Oh, I might be thinking of the next thing. Never mind.
The next phase is what you're thinking of, Carl. I just posted the Barnabas Z is what they call it.
Right, I forgot about
Z.
Barnabas Z, and also Barnabas GT is not canon.
In the Super Nintendo when he's called Ball Nabs, this man be out here nabbing your balls.
He looks like a Muppet in the SNES version.
MF be looking like a
that
Muppet.
Pokemon?
It's like a little. It's like Beaker.
Yeah, he looks like Beaker. He's just he's into the top of Barnabas going like me 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 me. But anyway, once he does the self-destruct, you've won that battle, and then there's like a one dialogue box cutscene that you go to where it just shows Dr. Luge saying like, okay, now I'm going to show you my true power.
God, now you've done it. Prepare to see true terror's face.
Yeah, and then we fight him again, and he is gross looking this time.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about earlier. Yeah,
he's
super
like
scary.
He's kind of a Terminator.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dr. Luge himself is like a machine.
Yeah, we need a bone zone of this.
Oh my god, a Luge Bone Zone would be so good. He looks like he's kind of already doing that.
Dr. Bone Zone.
Yeah, he's doing the Bone Zone.
Someone good at
the
animating.
Amano art is just, it's so brutal. I love it.
Yeah.
If I was better at rigging in like Blender, I would totally import Dr. Luge and do make a Bone Zone.
The crazy thing is looking at the Amano art, this is probably like damn near 1-to-1 the Super Nintendo sprite.
Yeah.
It's very close, yeah.
Like it's probably the closest I've ever seen of like a specific Amano piece to a game translation.
I've seen that a lot over the season. There's a lot of like certain bosses that like they just used Amano's Amano's art that they are showing is specifically for like the sprite template that the sprite artists were based off of. I'm not sure what the process of it is.
There's probably some bosses or some things that are like easier to transpose. Obviously this one is super easy, but like, you know, when you start looking at like Amano designs, like when you look at Bart's for 5 versus like what Bart's actually is in the game, you're like, what happened here?
I don't actually know what
there's a big jump in difference.
So this is like some big Hojo kind of energy, it feels like, where you just have this
for real, yeah. The Mad Doctor.
Who's actually kind of a monster, like a literal monster.
Yeah, right.
It was like, oh.
I feel like that's a theme, though. Like, this is definitely the second Final Fantasy that the like a villain is like a scientist of development, not like the big villain, but like,
oh yeah.
And I feel like this happens again. I just can't place where like another scientist does something really bad.
Maybe like Sid in FF6. Maybe?
I think there is the kind of a bit of that in 8, but it's not. I can't remember specifically, but I'm pretty
8
sure
is done more like the US making NASA, where we just took the bad guys and we're like, it's fine, they're on the good side now.
Yo, SpaceX?
Specifically NASA. For a specific reason.
Not sure about all this anti-science propaganda.
yeah, I don't know where to land on it. It's like this shit hits different in 2021.
Dr. Luge uses the Moderna vaccine on you. He doesn't give you a choice.
Yeah, and then you can no longer control your own characters. The game just decides for you, and it's kind of like
didn't
Pig
test
or
this
Toad.
Attack on anyone else. It's specifically experimental.
It turns you into a sheep instead of like a pig. No, just kidding. Vaccinations are good. Get vaccinated, you fucking
Get
idiots.
vaccinated.
So the Dr. Luge fight fucking sucked even on my cheated file.
Yeah, it's not great.
So he is like this Bonzo cyborg Bone Zone.
Cyborg Bone Zone. That's amazing. Okay, sorry.
But he would. Yeah, he'll counter attacks with sleeping gas, but he'll also use like a reverse.
Reverse, yeah.
Which
he'll heal you.
Yeah, where all healing attacks now do damage.
And all damage now does healing.
Yeah, it's absurd, which is great now that we have Rosa and Cecil. We have two people who can like do Cura.
Yeah.
In that phase, which I had to do just like constantly just blowing out Cura and occasionally doing damage control because I accidentally hurt myself or something like that.
So in the 3D version, this is where I lost to this form twice in a row, and I was like, you know what? I don't care. I'm just going to cheese it. And so what you do is you just queue up 2 members to use elixirs on him after he uses reverse, because he reverses healing and damage for everybody, and then you throw elixirs, which are max healing, and so it does quad 9 damage.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, so I had two.
It'd be
and I
cool
just
if other
threw them
Final
quick.
Fantasy games had something like
Wait,
that.
elixirs do that?
Yeah, elixirs. Well, the thing is, he's not undead though, right? So if he
Yeah,
hasn't
yeah.
used reversal, then it won't work.
Right.
Yeah, I noticed that. I used Phoenix Downs, and they aren't as effective.
Yeah.
It was just a lot of just like kind of paying attention. But thankfully, he reverses everyone at the same time. It'd
Yeah.
be really annoying if he only reversed some people.
God,
and I'd, like,
yeah.
be careful, just managing who was doing what.
Yeah.
But
Plus, the funny thing about Phoenix Downs is this is still in the era of Final Fantasy games. It didn't stop until 6, where Phoenix Downs have an opportunity to miss.
Oh god.
So, like, you can throw, like, in Final Fantasy V, there's a particular part in the speedrun when you give Galoof the bone mail and you throw a Phoenix down on yourself so that we can end a particular battle faster to save time. But there's no guarantee that the Phoenix down is going to proc on you. So you could be there and cast, like, throw like 6, 7, 8 Phoenix downs before it finally triggers.
As an
pretty
FF5
sure-
speedrunner, let me tell you, I know all about it.
I'm pretty sure that's very early Pokemon as well, right? Like, isn't there the thing that the Gen 1 miss, where there's just like a 1 out of like 255 chance or something in Gen 1 for any move to miss, even if it's like one that's guaranteed to hit, you can still just get
Swift.
like a bad.
Is there?
I'm pretty sure.
Except for, like, I think Swift will.
Somebody get Daycare Dittos on the phone.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we gotta call up Peter specifically. I know he's the speedrun enjoyer.
So Dr. Luge, though, he's kind of a jerk. He's a little bit tough. But did you notice that, like, I think you said, Carl, that, like, occasionally he just heals your team?
I don't think I noticed that. No.
I think, yeah, that happens
Yes.
once or twice.
Yeah, he'll throw gas on you, which poisons your entire team. And eventually he tries to throw other status effects like sleep on you and stuff like that, but then he'll just randomly cast heal and just remove all the status ailments
Very odd.
off of your team.
Well, nice guy.
What a nice dude. You know what? I take back everything bad I said about this guy. He's all right.
Yep, and then he'll just beam you right after.
Oh, dude,
think-
Beam
oh,
does
yeah,
so
so-
much fucking damage.
Oh yeah, the move that he uses right before curing you is actually called the Hippocratic Oath.
Get him.
But yeah, that move Beam, it would do like 1,000+ damage to me. Like, just smoke a motherfucker every time.
Yeah, and I think that's a similar move to one of the, like, didn't the Alert boy, like the portal looking fucking thing, also have a beam, which was not as bad, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it wasn't as tough, yeah. But yeah, he's a little challenging, not too bad in the 2D versions. 3D version, you can just throw the elixirs and be done with them, so I just suggest that. By this point in the game, you can have 2 or 3. And on we go. Unless you guys have anything else to say about him.
Yeah, I think the only other thing that I have to say about it is that at some point, I can't remember specifically which part of the battle it is. It goes from that like goofy song that we had against the dolls to like the actual boss theme, which is I fucking love. I think I've said that many times. I love
It's
when
so good.
especially Final Fantasy games do that.
Yeah, agreed.
It's the Fiends boss battle, which is really like menacing. And
Yeah, so it goes from being like goofy as hell, where there's just this doctor who's getting punched by his own Frankenstein, and it's like ha ha ha, and it's playing this funny song, and then it's just like, oh shit, just got real, and now I need now I need to focus.
You know what's going to be really interesting? Remember some of these note motifs that are inside the songs? They all come together in the final song.
Hell yeah.
The final
Yeah,
boss
it's really
has
good.
a little bit of motifs from each of the like the battle theme and then the boss themes and some of like the get out of here quick.
It's truly a prog epic.
Hell yeah, dude. Classic
It's
Nobuo,
really
for sure.
good.
Yeah.
The victory screen in the 3D version is a special screen where it looks a little bit cinematic.
Yeah.
I love that Rosa in mine just didn't make it, so she's just kind of just face down. It really looks like a Family Guy, like Dead Peter kind of thing. Like she just got hit by a car.
I hate that Cecil is indifferent to this.
Yeah.
Kane and Yang at least look a little bit pained by it.
Yang is
Rosa's
like
just looking forward, and
respectfully
Cecil's
bowing,
like, here we
being
go.
like, goodbye, Rosa.
He does it every time though.
Eh.
But yeah, we finished the battle, and Lubega says, "He, this tower reaches beyond the surface. You know, Rubicante has already moved the crystals to the spire above. All that remains is to annihilate those accursed dwarves with my cannons. Wee!" And then he poofs, and you get his key.
Yep. So he did.
So we down here for no reason.
Yeah, we here for no reason.
We could have just gone up to the surface, I guess.
We could have just gone back to the pub at Troya. It would have been fine.
We did all this for no reason.
For no reason. But the party's like, oh no, the dwarves, because we learn about the super cannon or whatever, right? Like they have like the early 2010s dubstep bass cannon. And
Yeah, they got
hit
they call it the sister ray.
Yeah.
The sister ray.
Yeah, right. That door that we couldn't get in before, a couple floors down, that's where the cannon is being fired from, right?
Yeah.
So we go back.
For some reason, there's a teleporter in this room where Luge was, but maybe we'll come to that later.
There is, but we can't use it yet. That's true.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Yep. If you like the tile that he was standing on, if you try to interact with it, it says like this is a teleporter, but it's not working.
It would be funny if that didn't come into... I know it will, but it would be funny if they just didn't elaborate on that. Like,
it's very Wayne's World, like maybe that'll come in handy later.
It's like a Zell's T-board in a FF8 or whatever, where
Yeah,
he's like,
yeah,
I have
it's
this
exactly
sick
like that.
hoverboard. Hoverboards are a thing in this game, and we're doing a whole scene about it, and then it just never comes up again.
yeah, it's literally just to show that the RAs on the campus are dickheads.
Yeah. So yeah, so we go back down a couple floors and we go up to the cannon room, right? And there are 3 goblins. They're goblin captains are firing the lasers or the cannons or whatever. And they see us. They turn around. We get in a fight with them. It's just 3 goblin captains. I have died in that battle before, not this time.
Oh no!
But like some time ago. And I can't remember why. I think I only had like 1 person alive after Luge, and I just didn't heal everybody back up. Anyway, it's such an easy fight. You won't die. It's fine. Don't even worry about it. But
You shouldn't die.
you shouldn't. But then we beat them, and they're still alive after we beat them, I guess, because they get another scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, where they're like, well, you're not going to blow up these cannons. We're not going to let you. And so they run up to the cannons and they explode themselves, I guess.
Yeah, they say destroy the controls. So
Okay.
like the I guess they just, break whatever is able to turn them off.
Okay.
So Luge has Cybermen. Got it.
yeah. So one of them jumps on Kane's back and he jumps up in the air and self-destructs, and we have to go find the Dragon Balls to get him back.
Yeah, nothing can stop the cannons now.
Love a good Yamcha crater.
Love a good Yang crater.
Yeah, luckily we do have Chaozu, so we can use this method against them if need be.
That's right, yeah. But only once.
Only once.
So yeah, there's no way to stop the cannons. The cannon is going to fire on the dwarves and destroy the entire fleet. And then we get another one of these scenes that we've gotten so many times this far, losing another party member.
I will take care of things in here. The rest of you, get out!
Are you mad?
It's too late, Yang.
Yang is like, okay, I'm going to stop these cannons. And everybody's like, what are you talking about? You can't do this. Like, what are you going to do? And he's like, oh, I had a good time with you guys. It's been an honor fighting by your side. And then he just like, depending on the version of the game you're playing, he either just like bonks Cecil on the head hard enough that it throws him all the way back through the last room. And it's like very silly. He just like is a 2-frame little bonk. It just throws him all the way back. Or he does the move kick in the 3D version, and he kicks everybody out of the room.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, he does like a big sweeping kick, and everyone goes flying out of the room, and he closes the doors.
Now, here's my question, right? What is he planning on doing?
He's probably gonna pee on it to short circuit it, but would sacrifice himself.
Because the electricity runs up his pee and kills him. I see.
Yeah, he heard that.
He just
Ren
couldn't
and
go
Stimpy
if everybody
song.
else was watching. That's why he pushed everybody out.
I don't know. Probably some sort of Kamehameha type thing.
Yeah, I was wondering this because he's like, no,
He's
I'm
gonna
going to
cast
stop
meteor
the
on
cannons. Yeah. But he's like, I'm going to stop these cannons. Everybody get out of the room because they're exploding. And we're kicked out of the room and we don't get to see what Yang does. He does stop the cannons, but like, how?
So he does what
technique.
He does what Waka could not. He kicks it so fucking hard that it actually breaks the cannon. Not just his foot.
Well, he was wearing sandals.
He kicks everybody out. He goes in there. He sets up Telnet on his laptop.
He downloads Putty.
He downloads Putty.
Hold on to your butts.
Yeah. He SSHs into the controls, and then
he's the only one who has a console cable, so he can access the cannons without the.
Yeah.
With the freaking hacker man voice.
I'm in. Yeah. He just sits there and he works on it for a while, and he goes, "Oh, okay. The virtual network is not set up right. That's what the problem is. Okay, I see.
Yeah, he just sets the IP address to 127.0.0.1, and the cannons fire on themselves. Yeah. God damn it! This is the fucking dumbest shit. This is so nerdy.
It's like your problem here was that like these two cannons are still using IPv4 and this one's using IPv6. So there was something going on where they weren't talking to each other.
Yeah, your DNS settings were
wrong. And then
wrong.
He dies, as every IT person does. Yeah. As Carl can attest, as somebody who does like networking, then everything blows up and he dies.
Yeah, and he's very grateful that he died because he had to do IT.
That explains why we keep giving different AT&T broadband texts that come out. I guess after they fix so many problems, they just explode.
Yeah, then they throw you out of the room and then just explode.
Stand back, I'll reset your router.
Imagine your IT man says like, if you should see my wife again.
Exactly right. I don't even know your last name.
Yeah, that's right. Before there's a giant explosion in the room, he does say, "Tell Sheila to live for the both of us."
Aw.
Very sad.
That's funny. In the SNES version, he just says to tell her to live for me.
Okay.
Yeah, in this
way.
version it says, "Tell my wife I will always be with her," which is pretty nice.
Seems like the SNES version makes him look like the biggest piece of shit.
They just couldn't fit all the script on, don't worry.
Tell my wife if she finds someone else to love, then I will haunt her.
Young, I don't know your wife that well. I'm not going to go tell her anything.
She rules, though. Maybe she'll join our party, though. We do have an opening now.
Yeah, we have an opening now, and she is like bad with a frying pan. We know that.
Hell yeah.
Party member tryouts are in.
That's right.
That frying pan has like 8 like dual materia slots on it, so you can get real good with it. It's got triple growth.
It's the most powerful weapon for Peach and SMRPG.
Hell
so
yeah.
like it's a good weapon to have.
Yeah.
Yo, the Oko pan.
It's got really, really good sound effects with it too.
God, that game has such good sound effects.
It's so good. Anyway,
so what we do next is kind of confused. Sometimes
I had
super
no
specific.
idea what to do. I had to look it up.
I was like, I'm at the top of this tower, I think, or at least halfway up it, maybe. And like, where do I go now?
They don't
And
say
I have,
anything
like,
about it.
Usually in a dungeon, I would just use teleport.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't do that here.
You can't do that here because we're underground and we don't get service.
Well, I didn't know that we were supposed to leave.
Yeah, so we're supposed to work our way back the way we came.
Yeah, they don't say anything about leaving.
I kind of like accidentally did that just because I was like, fuck. I need to find a save point. Shit, how did I get there? And I was just like stumbling through and like running away from battles. I'm like, it's 120 gil. It's fine. I dropped it. It doesn't matter. Just fucking go. I don't feel like doing this shit again.
If I didn't look it up, I thought like, I have to get this teleporter working. And like, that'd be what I would be thinking.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, me too.
So a little Final Fantasy 1 at this part again, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not really intuitive. They could have definitely done a better job of like explaining like the idea. Like after Luge, you know, like, hey, we have to stop that and then we have to get back to the dwarves. Like they could have been just like a single one line that they introduced into it.
Yeah, like
or even the speech bubbles, because after at this point I was like, what do I do next?
Yeah.
So I go to the menu to see what people are thinking, because it sometimes gives you a little bit of direction.
Yeah, that's right, because your game has the speech bubbles.
But they're all just grieving Yang,
understandably.
And not saying, oh, we got to do this next now.
Yeah.
But I guess we're just leaving.
I wanted to ask a question about the audio. So the sad "you lost a party member" music plays like after that, but in the SNES version, after you get an encounter, it immediately just goes back to the normal like Tower of Babil music. Yeah. Is that the same way with you guys too?
Yeah, I was hoping that it would be throughout the encounters as well, but.
Yeah, because they've done it in like previous Final Fantasies, like where like somebody's like left, or like there's been like a climactic scene, and then like there's like that reflective, like kind of like the Midna's lament in like Twilight Princess.
God,
so good,
Sorrow
so good.
It's played a few times.
Yeah, so they'll have like those in games, but I guess this is just before that, where it gets back to it and just overrides the previous script.
Yeah, this is more like a Cruel Angel's Thesis from Neon Genesis Evangelion, where it starts off and it's very sad and like angelic and like beautiful and stuff, and then it just becomes a fucking dance song.
It reminds me of it doesn't remind me, actually. That's the thing, is it doesn't do this. But my favorite instance of that, Ninnyz, that you're talking about is in FF10 when we're going to Xanarkand the first time. Like when we get to Xanarkand and then we like walk across the rubble and it's playing that tune the entire time instead of the battle music.
God,
yeah,
so good.
There's like no break. It's just like that dun 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 dun.
Dun, 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 dun.
The theme is very similar. The Cry and Sorrow is what it's called for the Final Fantasy IV, is very reminiscent. I guess maybe the other way around. The ancient forest from Final Fantasy VII is very reminiscent of this. Like there's a lot of motifs in there that are very similar.
Interesting.
Oh, Nobi.
Oh, Nobi boy.
Love a good motif.
Motif.
He do that though. Like, what is it? Like, there's a lot of Final Fantasy VIII songs that have, like...
8 is the motif game. It is the game of, like, yo, you remember this?
It's crazy how it'll reach, like... It'll remind you of 6. It'll remind you of 9. Even though, but, like, 9 hadn't come out yet. It'll remind you of 7.
The main
it'll
theme...
even give you some notes in 10.
The main theme, like, that is throughout the main motif of Final Fantasy VIII is just, like, fucking Tifa's theme.
Talk about it.
So,
yeah,
it's Tifa's theme. Yeah. It's so good, dude.
Anyway,
oh yeah, that's the Cry and Sorrow like main melody is the same as the overworld melody, just kind of in a different key. Yeah. It's like it's just there's all these things like because of the context of it.
And I think it's
like it's the same song again.
We probably already talked about
this,
but
everybody.
the underworld, even though it's like the Babil thing, it is still the same motif as the overworld theme. It's
just playing like a slower kind of
a little relaxed,
funkier version,
like a bossa nova beat. Really want to croon it.
Achievement unlocked. 100 episodes of talking about Final Fantasy VIII.
We did it.
Exactly.
Maybe we can get to 200 before we actually play it.
I can't wait till we're the ones who usher in the age of Final Fantasy VIII, where everyone admits that it's good.
There you go.
That's the only.
I would love to see that timeline.
And then as soon as that ends, I am raptured because my time here is like my work here is done.
So we get to the bottom of the tower, and that thing we were talking about earlier, we're like, are we on a bridge? We must be up high, because this like scene only makes sense if we're like considerably up in the air, right?
So yeah, in the 2D version, when we first enter the castle, it looks like we're over lava, but maybe it's like over clouds instead, like the bridge that we're entering the cave on. In the 3D version, it is just over a black void.
Yeah.
Which is a little confusing. But as we're crossing the bridge that we entered in on, sure enough, the screen turns dark or dim, and we hear Golbez's voice.
Golbez.
This motherfucker.
You're even more meddlesome than I had thought.
It feels like getting caught by your parents, like when you're like staying awake too late playing Game Boy Advance in bed, and it's a school night.
God damn it.
And then they catch you.
You're like, you're the one who got me the SP. It's got the backlit screen. Actually, I think those had a front light. Can't remember.
What does this sentence mean?
Which one?
In the 3 version, it says mice are wont to play.
Yeah,
like the cat
so
is
it's like as they are wont to do.
Oh,
it's
I think want.
There's no asterisk.
Mice are wont to play.
Yeah.
It's not wont.
Mice are wont to play.
Sorry, I'm reading this off a card.
Yeah.
Just has a bunch of like, this is like little zingers.
Yeah. the Golbez voice actor's like, is this a joke? Are you having a go at me? Save this for the blooper reel.
Can you angle the teleprompter down a little bit? Thank you.
Yeah, but in my version, he says, when the cat is away, the mice will play.
Yeah. But I'm afraid that our game of cat and mouse is at an end. The time has come for us to part ways. And then he like blows up the fucking bridge.
It's like in Shrek.
Yeah, and like it's pretty funny in like a 2D version where like they're just quickly running, and you see like the bridge you're like moving way faster than the sprite. Yeah, and you're just like, well, I guess everyone's fucking dead now.
He gives us the old Tacoma Narrows and destroys the bridge underneath
Looks like we're gonna have to jump.
Yeah. Today is all right for tonight. But anyway. So, so the bridge is collapsing faster than we can run. We end up falling off the bridge into the black void. But our boy made it just like he said he would.
Yeah. Can always count on Sid.
In the 3D version, we see the Enterprise floating over lava, and I guess he catches us. So that maybe I'm guessing that yes, we are above lava, but we just can't.
What's funny is that I think the 2D version actually does a better job of showing you what is happening here, which is kind of hilarious since it is 2D and not 3D.
If the 3D version had a fire moat just around the outside overworld, you have to go enter in through the drawbridge, and then it just kind of tie those two things together.
Yeah. In the 2D one, you at least see it swoop down and get really close to the ground, and you see Cecil twirling and falling through the void for a while first
with a nice little
sound
effect.
Yeah,
just like the stone when we dropped it down the well.
We dropped the magma Cecil, and now he's gonna blow up a mountain.
Gave me the old spicy key.
He gave me the old spicy key. But Sid swoops down on the Enterprise and saves us. Which I was thinking about, and I was like, well, we still hit the deck of the Enterprise,
that would still,
whether we hit the ground or the Enterprise.
Yeah, you know what?
Well, it's either the lava or the Enterprise.
Yeah. This scene was so fucking cool that my disbelief is thoroughly suspended.
I was like, yeah, if we hit the deck, we're still dropping 30 floors onto the deck of an airship. I think we're still fucked.
I think Sid realized this, and when he was making his modifications to it so that it could fly, he was like, okay, I need to make the deck softer. So he used that the Japanese floorboards.
It's all tatami mats.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all just memory foam.
I was thinking about it, and I guess the way you would have to do it, right, was you'd have to match the speed that Cecil's falling at. So a 9.8 meters per second squared kind of thing. And then gently wedge yourself underneath him and then reduce the speed of the falling as slowly as possible.
Yeah, so it's just he falls on an angle, and then you kind of just
yeah, exactly right.
In.
Yeah, if he falls at an angle, that's right. You're not transferring all of the force directly downward.
It's similar to if you're driving like I do sometimes, where I just have a mug of piping hot coffee and no cover over it, and then you're gonna hit a speed bump or something, so you have to lift it up at the same rate that your car is bumping up, or if you're sneezing while you have a very hot cup of coffee and you don't want to spill it all over yourself.
This is why I sometimes prefer my Uber Eats to be on a bike than in a car, because they can absorb the shocks of the ground and shit, because they over the whole, all their arms and legs move, but their whole center of gravity is staying put.
Alex, do you remember driving in my red Dodge Nitro when we would come back from Carl's house and we would hit that corner on 47th and Gray's Ferry, where all it was all really bumpy and it had no shocks, and so me and you were both whoa. It's going nuts driving over that road.
Curtis, I gotta ask, why do you just have a knife, an X-Acto blade knife in your hand?
I am just holding a box cutter. I don't know why. I've been holding and so is Alex.
Shit.
We're both just off screen. Both of us have been holding box cutters. We didn't know it.
The sharpest object I have is one of those
Carl's got
Oral-B flossers. So
yo, hell yeah,
we're all armed. But I also have a complaint to lodge against this podcast. I was promised after a certain amount of time of this specific episode, no more math.
Yeah,
and,
what the fuck, Curtis?
I feel that we have thoroughly broken that promise.
This is
no,
calculus,
see,
baby.
you misheard when Curtis said no more math. There was a comma in there. It was
no,
more math.
God damn it, grammar strikes again.
I love the fact that we all just had blades. Anyway, I'm just out of shot because no one can see our hands. So
Carl is the meme of the cat with everyone holding knives to it.
Yeah. Me and Alex just both holding box cutters.
I'm looking around to try and find a box cutter down here. I surprisingly don't have one.
I mean, I definitely have a box cutter less than 5 feet away from me. I chose the safer object to fidget with.
You didn't choose violence today.
You chose hygiene today.
So we're on board the Enterprise.
Sid has got it fixed.
Everyone's accounted for.
Yeah, everyone's accounted for.
Yeah, we lost one homie, which is sad, but luckily those days are behind us. Now we got our other friend back. So.
We're back to 5 party members. Here we go again.
No more death. No more death.
Where's Young?
And like Cecil says, he sacrificed himself to stop the tower's cannons. I keep being Sid, and like this is a section we have 2 C's and 2 R's. I can't.
2 C names, and they're both like soft C's.
Yeah, it also kind of sucks
like
that
another
like
good man lost.
It's easy to like confuse the sprites of Cecil and Kane just because for the longest time like Kane
they were like
was
super similar. Yeah,
Cecil was a similar color and stuff. And
C's, but yeah, another man lost. What is that? Oh yeah, Rydia's here, and she sniffles and says like, "Who's that one?"
Yeah, he's like, "Who is this?"
That's right. He met her like while he was away.
I don't think Sid's ever met Rydia, right?
No, I don't think he did.
Yeah.
When Sid says, "Where's Yang?" Rosa just kind of immediately starts sobbing, which just with the immediate text box of just sob after it, like was a very funny mental picture to me. It's just like, "Where's Yang?"
Yeah, shut up, Sid.
I feel like this. Oh, it's kind of like I think the scene that I'm thinking of is in Futurama when someone yells at Zoidberg or something, like Bender is yelling at them or something, and Zoidberg just starts crying right away because like Bender makes Amy cry immediately by saying something mean to her, and then Zoidberg says something. He's like, "Shut up, Zoidberg," and he's just like,
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But yeah, so we introduce him to Rydia. Yang is dead. We tell him that. And now we're being followed. One of the Red Wings has caught up with us, right?
Oh, no.
Oh, man.
It never ends. And Kane's even like, "Yo, can't you shake them? Shouldn't you be faster than them now that you've done these modifications?" And he's like, "Oh, they must have modified the Red Wings too. This should be the faster ship."
So all that for naught.
All that for nothing. But at least we can like fly in the heat now, I guess.
Yeah.
He added AC to it.
The spicy.
But everybody on board was like, "I don't feel the AC. I don't know why it's not working." And then Sid realizes that it's aiming at their feet. He hasn't pressed the button that actually makes it come out the dash.
It's running a little hot. But yeah, they're closing in on us.
They're closing in. We can't shake them. So Sid comes up with the plan. He's going to fly.
He's like, "Come on, Enterprise!"
He's going to fly up through the hole that we came down in, right? Through the mountain hole.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he's like,
Cecil, take over!
Sid! What are you doing?
Once you reach the surface, I'll seal off that hole for good with this!
And he has like a thermal detonator with him, right?
Thermal detonator!
Yeah, and Rose is like, "Oh no, not you too." And Sid says, "I was hoping I'd get to see your kids one day, but someone's got to keep Yang company. You get yourselves back to Baron. Talk to my boys when you get there." And so like, Sid is also planning on sacrificing himself. And I love what Rydia says, or what he says to Rydia, where she goes,
"But Sid!
You'll die!"
And so young, too!
I love that. Like before he jumps to his death, he goes, "Oh, and so young, too."
That's so good. He doesn't say that in my version. He does say, like, she's like, "Sid, like, don't die. Like, please don't." And he says, "Hey, I'm Uncle Sid to you, lassie. Remember, head for Baron immediately." And then he jumps off the airship.
Bombs away! Try stopping this, Go Bears! My once-in-a-lifetime unaided flight!
My once-in-a-lifetime unaided flight?
That's such a good line.
Oh, hell yeah. What a fucking king.
Complete
I know.
chaotic
Love
energy.
this
I
dude.
love it.
It's just super kind of hilarious how it happens in the Super Nintendo version because like Rosa's right next to him and then he jumps off, so it almost looks like Rosa just like throws him off the ship, just like yeets him,
Just
and like
kicks him.
he's like and like he does the super fast spinning thing like what happened when we were falling out of the Tower of Babel. So once again it's the
Magical girl's transformation fall.
yeah. And then he starts slowing down with the spin, just kind of like looks straight at the camera and it's just like, gives a little wink to it and it's like, "Here we go."
And then he blows himself up.
Yep.
And
we do see a cutscene in my version.
God, you love that grid though.
He's like Gritty with the helmet.
Oh, so good. In my version, there is another one of those kick-ass like fully rendered cutscenes, like 3D animated, where the airship comes out of the crater and like the explosion goes off and you just kind of see a bunch of smoke behind it.
Yeah, and that's Yang and Sid in the same episode.
Two homies, man.
Yeah, that's what Rydia says. She says one after another, and Kane says, "Rushing to die like fools."
And Cecil kind of snaps him out of it and says, like, "We're off to Baron now. Like, that's our next thing."
Yep.
And that's what I did. I went and parked at Baron, and that's where I ended today's play.
Yeah, same
I
here.
just parked at Eggert again.
Damn, lost two homies. We got the
Yeah,
and like
two
it's
real
kind of
homies
like
too. It's such a bummer.
It is, and I feel like. I mean, I don't know that it was intentional or anything like that, but I feel like every time we lose a party member, there's like another party member pops up to take their place. And so it was like you lose Yang, and then Sid comes back, and you're like, oh, okay, Sid's back in the party. That's cool.
Yeah, in the same way that we lost Sid, and then Rydia came back. And
Maybe Tella will come back again.
the ghost of Tella.
So
as a ghost, a spooky ghost.
Yeah, he comes back as Tella the White.
Palom and Porum come back and they're like 7 feet tall.
They come back, but they're you're like, oh my god, they're so tall now. Like, and then you realize that
Their
it's
heads
just
are still the same
they're
size,
just
though.
on each other's shoulders with a trench coat on, trying to get into an R-rated movie, trying to get into the Troya like gentlemen's club.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I was gonna say the messed up part is like, you lose Sid here, and I played a little bit ahead because I wasn't exactly sure how much we were doing,
Yeah.
and so like the cave of the next area, some of the enemies have a chance to drop like a silver wrench, and I was like, oh come on, he can't even use it.
That sucks. That's fucked up.
Wow, what a bummer.
You hate to see
True
it.
bummer.
Heavy episode.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks for coming on, Ninnyz.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Always a pleasure.
I love it here.
You love it in this windowless room that you're handcuffed to.
You know what? If there was any windowless room that I would be in, I would not want to be in any other one than this one.
Well spoken. Anything you'd like to plug or that you're doing?
Right now I'm just doing Final Fantasy II speedruns. I've been intermittently working on trying to do some like collaborative bingo races, just like some casual competitive stuff with friends. I've done a couple of things with Birdo, please. We're actually trying to do something, me and Carl. So still trying to get some kind of prompts from anybody. Go ahead and DM me. I'm on the FNFF Discord with Ocarina of Time vanilla prompts. We're going to try to get a bingo going of just like, some interesting goals, stuff that's like not common, like get, 15 Deku nuts, or, get the forest gem. Like think of something that's weird, like,
fully upgrade the Deku sticks or some shit.
Yeah.
Deku's nuts.
Or like, burn 3 Deku shields, like just something goofy, something weird, something to like make us do something outside the box while we adventure through the vanilla game. And also,
let me ask you, if theoretically somebody wanted to watch you do maybe a little Final Fantasy II speedrunning or something like that, where would they go?
Twitch.tv/Ninnyz. That's NINNYZ.
Bless you.
Bless up.
Bless up.
Other than that, I just got a couple of projects I'm working on. Not too ready to kind of release the information, but I'm trying to really get the ball rolling on this stuff I've been working on for about a year, and I'm really excited to kind of get it out in the public soon.
You heard it here first, folks.
I'm excited to be a part of that public that gets to consume it.
Boy, do I love consuming.
Open up.
How about you boys? Anything to announce?
Speed Souls charity marathon coming up in November. Hopefully I'm good at Demon Souls by then, because otherwise I'm letting the entire team down. I think it's November 5th through the 7th, I want to say. I am really bad with the old memory recently, because all of my brain is consumed by work. So give me 1 second to pull that up. I'm typing in Tweeter in
In the meantime, I would be remiss not to take this opportunity on behalf of all the listeners and the past guests of this, and as a fellow listener myself, to congratulate the three of you on 100 episodes.
Hey, you shut the fuck up,
thank you so
Ninnyz.
much.
Oh gosh, okay.
How dare you?
How dare you be nice to us?
You know how I feel about compliments. Well, thank you, Ninnyz. I appreciate it. And thank you for being on a lot of them.
Yeah, honestly, this podcast is great just because of all the people that we met, but I feel like extremely grateful that it led to us being able to meet. Like, I'm sure maybe we would have met through, like Twitter or not Twitter, fuck that place, through Twitch and everything, but like just
also fuck that place, but
yeah. No, but seriously, I've met a lot of friends, and I'm very grateful that I can call you a friend, and that we met pretty much through this podcast. That it's wild to think back on 100 episodes.
Yeah, this is how I met you as well, right, Ninnyz?
Yes. I think I was a listener. I responded to a tweet that was put up by like, come and be a guest on the pod. And then I just kind of started following the three of you on Twitch and just kind of participated and just kind of followed along, and just naturally it worked out so well.
Yeah. I would say at this point, I think you've been on 125th of the podcast. Is that right?
I think this is my third appearance.
Oh, I'm sorry, third. So
you're on twice last season.
Yeah, I'm still fairly behind Corey, which I'm trying to catch up. That's Corey's my nemesis as far as the returning podcast guests.
Corey or Darmok. Darmok slipped in like 4 times last season.
Yeah, that's true.
He's your nemesis in the way that FF10 has nemesis.
Oof.
So you've been on 1 out of every 33 episodes.
Yes.
I see.
Or we could say 3 out of 100.
Yeah, but that's less fun. How about you, Alex? Anything?
Besides, I guess I uploaded all our...
Oh, yeah.
I spent last week uploading all our past episodes, and I guess this current season, to YouTube. So it's just, if that's something that is relevant to you, go hang out there. Some people like listening to things on YouTube. Some people like sharing things on YouTube. I know it's kind of hard sometimes to like share a moment in a podcast or even just an episode of a podcast with someone who isn't already having like a podcast player. So sometimes YouTube is really nice to just like share a video and have it like timestamped with that moment. If you're like, hey, I would check this out.
If you would like to hear us laugh at the scene where Sid jumps from the train, from one train to the other train, you can go get that timestamp and just share that moment.
It's also good for commenting, and just like, it's been a fun like kind of trip down memory lane, which is very appropriate for that. This is our 100th episode that I'm announcing this, because it's just like, oh yeah, remember that thing? Remember that joke? Especially because YouTube has like copyright flags on everything, like all these weird audio jokes we have. It's been great.
I'm gonna go through all of the YouTube videos and comment timestamps of every single one of my jokes, and my inspiration for that is like anytime I go to like a video game OST.
Oh, you're gonna give context for every joke? Like,
with links to like the Futurama episode. It's like, here's where Bender has to make Fry cry, and he can't do it, but he makes Zoidberg and Amy cry instead. No, but it's like anytime you look at an OST of a video game soundtrack, and like
2020 and still listening,
it's all of it just in one video. It's like a 4-hour thing, and there's no time stamps, but some absolute legend was like, I'm gonna just go through and name every single one of these with timestamps. That's gonna be me. That's gonna be my role.
I would like to say, as of the recording of this podcast, none of those episodes have a comment that says first on them. It could be you.
Shit,
it could be you, listener.
I really dropped the ball on that. I was doing that for like a while in the beginning.
Yeah, you did that with the ambient.
Yeah, you didn't have a chance because Carl got it with the ambient ones. But like, you have the opportunity now.
Now you have nothing but opportunity, because I am too busy to even continue my Super Nintendo playthrough, which I just never mentioned.
Cool.
I'm also streaming video games at twitch.tv/TwirlingCurtis. Come hang out with me.
Yeah, how's that Dragon Quest 2 going?
Dragon Quest 2 sucks, Alex. That game sucks ass, and I hate it. Like, it's good for the time, but like, fuck that game. I'm so ready to be done with that game. I hate that fucking game.
Oh, dear.
So there you go. That's my update. All right, Alex, would you like to throw yourself off of the airship and explode yourself on the way down? Or
yes.
Or alternatively, you could like jump in my hollowed out neck body, like the neck pit of my body, and then pilot me around like a mech.
Or you could piss on the controls, killing the podcast and also yourself. And thus saving the world, saving the dwarves.
Thank you, the Night of the Round, for the theme music. Always a great listen. Thank you, Nobuo Uematsu, Junya Nakano, and Kenichiro Fukui for the game music. Leave us a review on iTunes, comment on YouTube. Call us at 530 Materia. thank you to everyone who's called in and like wished us a 100.
Yes.
100 episodes.
Thank you all so much. That has been so nice.
Like that was specifically like I think motivated by a friend of the pod, Dan Park, who just like everyone call in and wish him a happy 100. And we've got like, I don't know, 10 at least.
We've got Final Fantasy X voicemails.
Yeah, here's one.
Happy 100 to my favorite every FNF friends, boys, dudes, bros, whatever you go by. It's Sweet Matter, I guess. I'm like trying to figure out what name do I use. Anyway, congrats. Talk to you guys soon. Yeah, Oron is daddy. Oron? I don't know. Bye.
Damn. All she does ever is tell facts.
Big Daddy Oron.
Big Daddy Oron.
Thank you so much, Sweet Matter. That's too kind. Literally like the sweetest person in the world.
Yeah, Sweet Matter rules.
And the owner of the Sailor Moon Wisdom Instagram that you should go follow. But you probably already follow because it has like 1 billion followers. But if you're not one of them.
Yeah, if you're not
to it.
Grimes or Lizzo, you should go and follow because they follow. And when Sweet Matter told me that, I was like, okay, she's probably going to be on the podcast one day. And we talk a lot of shit on both Grimes and Elon Musk. So there is not an insignificant chance that Grimes might actually hear me talking shit on her and saying that she was kind of canceled for being with Elon Musk and then replaced with Hatsune Miku.
Only good things about Lizzo, though, who you did a really good, like...
that
bike chase video with the
with the flute, yeah. Yeah, Lizzo, come on the pod.
Lizzo, come on the pod.
Here's another one.
Holy shit, it is your 100th episode, I think, according to somebody on the Discord. Anyway, this is Dent. Just wanted to say congrats.
Oh.
Keep up the awesome work. Loving the Final Fantasy IV season. That is my favorite Final Fantasy. Rydia's theme fucking rocks. It is the lullaby music that my daughter listens to every time she goes to sleep.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's so sweet.
Fuck yeah. Fuck
yeah.
Every fucking fuck.
Fuck yeah.
Show up.
Show up.
I'm gonna end now. Bye.
That's so good.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. That's way too sweet.
Yeah.
That's super sweet.
Hopefully we're doing your favorite Final Fantasy justice.
But yeah, thank you to everyone who called in. Don't have time to do all the reacts because there's just too many, but we love you all.
Sure.
And you'll probably have heard a few of them before we even, these two probably haven't heard, but we'll probably drop in anyway. But yeah.
Fantastic.
530 Materia. You find us at every FNFF on Twitter, Instagram, and through that you can find our Discord, which you can come talk to us, talk to Ninnyz, talk to anyone really that's here. Got a lot of good folks in there.
A lot of homies.
Ninnyz has been showing off some really good food.
Yeah.
Yo, Ninnyz is such a good fucking chef. What the fuck?
Unbelievable.
Thank you. I don't know how I became the go-to food advisor, but I do a lot of cooking. I watch a lot of things on YouTube. I read cookbooks, and then I just experiment on whatever free time that I have that I'm not trying to do my other projects. So if you have any questions, I love to talk about food, and I would love to learn as much as teach anything that I know.
Ninnyz is the whole package.
I'm waiting for Ninnyz to post like a picture of his game haul when he buys like physical copies of video games and then cut into them and it's cake, like that trend from like a couple months ago.
He's got like a beautiful pan of like charcuterie, but it's all like GameCube discs instead of salami.
You know what I'll do? I'll do that, but it'll be an actual PlayStation 2 disc of Super Monkey Ball Adventure because fuck that game.
You're getting called out on the podcast, Super Monkey Ball Adventure. Canceled.
But yeah, thank you guys for doing 100 episodes with me. And not one
Thank
fight.
you for doing all the hard work on the 100 episodes. Jesus.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Thanks, Alex, for doing all the work.
I need to like give myself a break.
Yes, you do.
Maybe we'll find a new host, and then I can just do less work.
You son of a bitch. No, this is how he tells us live on air.
All right. See you next week. Maybe.
Goodbye.